15 months after he drove from his home state of Illinois to Wisconsin with an AR-15 in the middle of civil unrest there over police paralyzing a young black man. Closing arguments are underway in the trial of Kyle Rittenhouse. The now 18-year-old faces first-degree intentional homicide, for which he could receive a life sentence, first-degree reckless homicide, and first-degree attempted intentional homicide. The trial day started with jury instructions, and then each side will have 2.5 hours for their closings. Attorney Mark Reichel with me now live as this case, which has captured national attention, comes to a close. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
The burden is always on the state to prove up their case. Last week, the second week of this trial, was kind of rough on Kenosha County's Assistant District Attorney, Thomas Binger. He had one exchange with the judge in which the judge told him not to get brazen with him, and this was over the prosecutor trying to question Kyle Rittenhouse about using his constitutional right to remain silent. Doesn't seem wise. In much of these proceedings, Judge Schroeder seems to be kind of supporting some defense positions, doesn't he?
You know, that's true. He's obviously, I think, done everything he can to make sure that this is really a fair trial for the defendant. However, all that really goes away when you get to closing arguments. That was yesterday's news to the jury. So they're really going to focus on closing arguments. I can guarantee you they're going to focus very closely on all the closing arguments.
One thing, I'm not sure if it changes for closing arguments, but I know that during the trial, the judge seemed to be giving deference to issues again that bolstered the defense and wouldn't allow the men killed and hurt in this case to be referred to as victims. How unusual is that for the jury to maybe start their deliberations without that word having been in their heads?
Believe it or not, it's not that overly unique. It is a little unique, but it happens. If you can get the judge to use their discretion and to agree that it could be really prejudicial, that happens. I'm not supporting it. Not something I like in this trial, but I really believe this. That is all yesterday's news. This jury is going to listen to these closing arguments and everything that took place, all of the wrangling and any personality flares that took place. All that stuff, I believe, is just not going to be relevant when they go in that room and start deliberating in front of the nation.
Now, the big feature that they are going to have to talk about is self-defense. Rittenhouse is claiming self-defense in a case in these fatal shootings of 2 men and the wounding of a third. Now, this all happened in the middle of a chaotic night in Kenosha in August of 2020 as people were protesting the police shooting of Jacob Blake. Now, when you claim something like self-defense, what responsibility, if any, do you have to remove yourself from the threat that you perceived? After firing the first fatal shots, a circumstance in which Rittenhouse says he felt threatened, he didn't leave the area. He didn't drive back to Illinois immediately.
Yes, that's the most important factor, is what happens right afterwards. Because even if it's imperfect self-defense, you can still be convicted of lesser included offenses. So the jury's going to determine here whether all the elements have been met, and then they're going to go from there. They're going to determine whether or not self-defense is perfect here. If it's perfect, if it's flawless, then he's going to be not guilty on the serious, the serious charges of the actual murder. But they're then going to look down at lower stages, and that's where I think they're going to probably compromise on. I see they're going to come down with something a little bit lower than the first-degree murder, but they're still probably going to find this guy guilty of a murder, a reckless behavior murder, and imperfect, not perfect, self-defense.
Imperfect, not perfect. Now, we've been talking about some of what you say is the backstory to this, and you really feel like the jurors are going to focus on what was presented today. That will be the last thing that they hear before they go back behind closed doors. If the prosecution's case has been weak at this point, what did they need to say? What have you heard them start to say this morning in closing arguments to kind of shore it up? And then conversely, what does the defense need to say to secure its case?
Okay, what the prosecution did really well here was he explained that he's for law and order, that he is for prosecuting crimes. In fact, he mentions he's prosecuting some of the other witnesses in the case. One for arson, another one for buying the gun for Rittenhouse. So he's really laying very clearly down the rule is we follow the law. Rittenhouse was in violation of the law. These other people then got involved trying to disarm him and got shot. The prosecution is doing a great job of personally saying, look, I'm prosecuting some of the witnesses in this case. I'm personally doing it. That really makes the jurors think, he's someone we can trust. So I think that's a real feather in his cap, and he did a great job bringing it out. He kept going on and on about how what Rittenhouse was doing was illegal at the time. And so that was wonderful, because once you can establish he was doing something illegal at the time, then other people were going to give them a little bit of leeway in how they acted when they charged him and so forth and so on. And it's really going to make a perfect self-defense really tough for the defense. Obviously, what the defense is going to do many times over is try to put those jurors in the position of Rittenhouse, on his back, laying down, hearing the mob, chaos, people with weapons coming at him, split second to decide what would they do. What would they do? Would their finger pull that trigger or not? That's exactly what the defense is going to do. If they can get jurors to hear that, think about that, have it resonate, become part of them in deliberations, they may say, I know he did something wrong, but beyond a reasonable doubt, do I think he made a mistake? Beyond a reasonable doubt, did he absolutely do wrong? I don't know. That's when you get hung juries. That's when you also get compromised verdicts, which are a little bit lower than the main charge the prosecution wants.
Now, you were just referencing the prosecution and saying you felt they did a great job when it came to emphasizing the fact that Kyle Rittenhouse was doing something illegal at the time. Part of that obviously involved this AR-15, and already this morning the judge has dismissed an illegal gun charge tied to kind of his interpretation. He told everybody he had spent hours going over Wisconsin's gun law. This all has to do with like the length of the barrel and whether or not minors, which Rittenhouse was a minor at the time, are allowed to possess those. So that's already been dismissed. How do you think that bodes for how the rest of these deliberations may go with that gun charge out of there?
I, again, don't think that is going to carry the day. I don't think that's going to be controlling for this jury. It's a smaller charge. They really adjusted and kept saying, despite whether that was a legal gun or not, what he was doing was illegal. They specifically did a great job starting. Their start, the first thing the jurors heard was about how Rittenhouse ran down and held up a firearm, this AR, to someone he thought was starting an arson. And they were very clear with, you don't get to shoot an arsonist. He had set the fire extinguisher down. He no longer was a medic or a fireman or whatever he claimed he was doing. He has an AR-15 pointed at someone when the other guy starts to attack him. So they did a great job starting with that, actually.
So once jurors go behind closed doors, at this moment, you think that there is going to be a conviction, but it will be on one of these lesser included charges?
That's what I think. I think jurors they obviously want to do the right thing always. And there may be some dissension. People like to compromise. People like to get along. There could be some dissension about, hey, I don't know if this guy's really should be convicted of the most serious charge there is. But once you have these lessers, it gives them a way for them to feel like they've done justice and go home.
All righty, and we'll be watching throughout the afternoon to see just how fast the jury gets the case after closing and then when they do come back. Thank you so much for your insight.
Thank you.